Welcome back to another episode of Viper Squadron podcast. With me tonight, I have Andrew,
Hi.
and then I have Austin.
Up.
We are, we did hear the other day that Peter Mayhew passed away, and as you can see, Austin has his Chewbacca porg there and porg bobblehead, and I have my nice little brand new Wookiee shirt that's got Chewbacca on it. But were you guys pretty shocked about hearing about him?
Yeah, because I didn't even know he was ill or anything like that. Also, I just read an article that he passed away. It was kind of sudden for me.
How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, it kind of surprised me too.
Yeah, it was kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, but he has gotten older, and his health had been failing. I mean, even when they were doing Force Awakens, he was still kind of in a wheelchair and stuff. So, he's gone downhill there the last few years. So, and I know his health was one of the reasons why he was passing on going to the Star Wars Celebration this year.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
At least he passed the torch on to the new guy, and pronounce his name. Can't do it. It's one of them names that nobody pronounces right. But he's done a fantastic job. But yeah, so rest in peace there, Peter Mayhew. So, all right, back to our X-Wing. This week, FFG did a live stream of a game with some of the developers to showcase some of the Wave 4 ships. Gave us a nice insight on some of the new stuff coming, some new mechanics that are coming to the game. Some of it's pretty cool, I thought, and some of it's I'm still not sure how I feel about it. But they played a game with the Republic versus the Resistance. So on the Resistance side, on the Republic side, let's start there. They had a Naboo starfighter with Anakin Skywalker, Naboo starfighter with Padme Amidala, and two Gold Squadron trooper Torrance, and one 104th Battalion pilot ARC 170s. So, I mean, this is the first glimpse, of course, how we can see how the Naboo starfighter performs, which was cool because just the ship itself, we kind of talked a little offline about it, but the stats and stuff for the ship, it comes with an actions. It comes with a focus, lock, barrel, and boost. White. So, I mean, that right there is pretty good. You agree, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking a couple of these to run alongside a couple of Jedi starfighters and lists.
Yeah. The other thing it says the stat line is it has 2 attack, 2 agility, 3 hull, and 2 shields. So, I mean, it's durable enough, not super durable, but still durable enough to be viable. 2 attack, 2 agility, still on the low side, but later on we'll talk about some of the upgrades that they had on there that because it does come with a oh wait, no, sorry, wrong person, wrong one. There's another cannon that comes on. That's a new cannon that came on later. But anyways, he does get stuff like torpedoes on that. So it is more of than just the 2 attack. So let's see. The first one, Anakin Skywalker. This is the cool thing. So we know Naboo Starfighter. That was little Annie. And first time in a starfighter and flying around there and blows up a control ship. So, of course, keeping with the theme of him not knowing how to do it and thinking, oh, we'll spin. It'll be fun. Right?
Yeah.
So his pilot ability says, before you reveal your maneuver, you may spend 1 force token to barrel roll. So before he even moves, gets that barrel roll. The trick part is it's not considered an action. So it doesn't count. So now this shows that he can do that barrel roll, show his maneuver, and then do another barrel roll as his regular action, which is really cool. I thought it was awesome. How about you, Austin?
Yeah, it had to be this, otherwise I was gonna quit X-Wing.
I mean, it had to have a way for Anakin to do a few barrel rolls in there.
Yeah.
Around, they had to figure that one out. But I mean, he only comes with 1 force charge. So, but of course, it's recurring at the end of the round. So at least he used that 1 force to do that extra barrel roll, which can come into play a lot because, I mean, not only could do a second barrel roll, but he could also do a barrel roll, then a maneuver, then a boost.
Yeah, that's a lot of moving.
So yeah, talk about the distance he can do. This has a 5 straight. So imagine he can do a barrel roll, 5 straight, and then a white boost.
Range 1, yeah.
Yeah, just all in one move, and that's a long distance to be moving around.
Yeah.
So so like we talked about the maneuvering of it. So the dial, it comes with a white 1 straight in bank, then blue 2 straight in banks, and then a white turns. It comes with a blue 3 straight in banks, white turns, and then a red Talon roll, and then a 4 and 5 white straight.
Yeah. That's pretty good dial.
Yeah. So unless you want to do that Talon roll, you don't never be stressed from any of your movements.
Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty easy.
Yeah, and even to clear that 1 stress, you got the 2s and 3s, straights and banks. I mean, that's a lot to be able to do. It would have been a lot worse if it had just the straights are blue.
Yeah, like the majority of the ships. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got your choice of 6 different maneuvers to clear that stress from that 1 maneuver. So pretty good. Let's see. Okay, so also Anakin Skywalker was only initiative 4. So, he's young, first time in a starfighter, like I said. 4 is pretty damn good.
Yeah, 4 is not bad.
Yeah, and then Padme, she's also an I-4. So, then you run them together, they can move in the same turn, so it's pretty good. She has a pilot ability. It says when an enemy ship in your front arc defends or performs an attack, that ship can modify only 1 focus result. Then it said other results can be modified.
So this ability doesn't seem like much, but being able to only modify 1 focus result is crucial. Like, so what's that pilot for the U-Wing? Magva Yara, where you can only reroll 1 dice from a target lock. So when I've used that ship and that pilot, and that was detrimental to my opponent. So imagine it's pretty much the same thing, but like focus instead of a target lock. So I
Right.
mean, it certainly limits what you can do.
Right. I mean, that's a definite way to put some limits on your opponent. So,
Yeah,
and it's not just the part is it's not just when like they defend. It's both defend and
yeah, defend and
attack.
attack. Yeah,
So, it's going to benefit you. Because if he's shooting against one of your other ships, his attack, you only can do that one focus result.
it's also for if I'm reading it correctly, it's any enemy ship while in your front arc. So
Right.
it's not just like once per round or anything like that.
Nope.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Now the starfighter does have a ship ability. It's called full throttle. After you fully execute a speed 3 to 5 maneuver, you may perform an evade action. So even think of that. I mean, even with like Anakin and his barrel roll, then maneuver, and then can barrel roll again. It's also, if he does a 3 to 5, gets a free evade.
Yeah,
That's
free actions.
yeah. I mean, just free stuff all around for him, and then, I mean, that helps out with having that only the 2 agility.
Yeah,
Yeah, like they kind of intend these things to be like, prototype defenders almost.
yeah, that's what. Yeah, very similar.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, they had on Anakin Skywalker, they had him equipped with plasma torpedoes. So that was a 3 attack at range 2 to 3, and it 2 charges. So you spend a charge during the neutralized step, and versus attack, and you have to have a lock. Spend 1 charge during the neutralized step. Critical hit results are canceled before hit results. After this attack hits, the defender loses 1 shield. So really, when I first started reading this, I was thinking, really, it's gonna we cancel crits first, then it's only leaving them hits, but then that last part is the defender loses 1 shield.
Yeah,
I mean, if
Mhm.
you shoot at people early in the round, I mean, early in the game where everybody still got shields, you
I
get
mean you
1,
could.
they're gonna
That's
lose.
potentially 4 damage here.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you said 4 damage.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, with good hit rolls.
yeah,
yeah,
because if all 3 attack guys go through, then you get that extra 1 that are take a shield.
yeah.
Hmm.
Now, if the ship has more than
Yeah.
3 shields. So for some ships that are like even the bigger ones with a lot of shields on them, I mean, even that's a big deal. Just getting that 1 extra shield taken away from them is a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so then on Padme, they had an astromech. Now, remember, I might have a few little things wrong on these because this was a watch the video, pause it, try to write it all down
Yeah.
and stuff, and it wasn't the best of picture. You know,
Hmm.
I think maybe they use a not that high quality of a camera on purpose for at least those tight shots. Um, but anyways, they had an astromech. She had an astromech. It was called R2C4. It was a Republic-only astromech, and it says while you perform an attack, you may spend 1 evade token to change 1 focus results to a hit result. So
One
think
focus
about
is
that.
also. It's that's pretty good. I
Have
mean,
that.
you.
Listen,
I mean,
you
I
have
mean,
that on
you're
any
pretty
of
much gonna get the evade token anyways with the full throttle.
right,
So I mean, why not, right?
Yeah,
right.
and if you use all those maneuvers to, boost out of arc, you can at least use that evade token offensively.
Yeah, but even if you had Austin his little munchkins, um, but if you have that even on that with the plasma torpedoes, because it just says perform an attack, it doesn't say primary attack. It just says an attack. You attack on that, and let's say one of those results are a focus, and you have that evade because of the full throttle, you know. So now you can flip that one over too.
Yeah, like
So
you can get kind of double mod attacks if you do target lock as your action with it. Then you get that free evade with this droid.
well, that's true because it is the plasma torpedo says it just as a lock. It doesn't say you spend the lock,
Yeah,
so you could spend the lock. Yeah, that'd be a pretty bad combo.
yeah. I mean, it depends on how many points the plasma torpedoes are. Like, there's
Yeah,
no reason you can't use this with proton torpedoes either.
yeah, yeah. Because proton torpedoes is doesn't matter what faction. So yeah. So the potential for that to be used a lot more, I could see that. Um, yeah. You have any other sites on these Naboo starfighters? Austin, Andrew? Nope.
Not with what we've seen so far.
So, and they said they were going to leave some things for the preview article.
Yeah.
So I'm sure hopefully we get some because this next wave 4 is supposed to be in what middle of June. So we have another 6 weeks before it's out, at least. So sure we're going to start getting some of the preview articles of each of these new ships.
Yeah, should be pretty soon.
Yeah. Now in the rest of that list, they had the Torrents and the Ark, but they were naked. They didn't have anything on them. So,
Which is fine. I've run them naked before. They're good.
yeah. Just the way he was flying them around in there, still, he had a pretty good mess going on there.
Yeah.
But he got those torrents in there right in the middle of the resistance ships and kind of broke up his movements because kind of made them bump into each other and stuff. So they kind of got a little jammed up there for a round.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. I think he used them pretty well. So now against him was the resistance. Now the guy was playing with an A-wing with the blue Squadron recruit and the resistance transport. Well, two resistance transport. One of the resistance transport pod. Hey, look, Larry's going to join us. Welcome, Larry.
What? Hey, Scott. Hey,
How'd it go?
Austin.
You going to stay awake tonight?
That's the goal. What's up,
Always
Andrew?
What's up, Larry?
Not much.
All right, so we're going over the show notes that I had sent out, and we're talking about the video that they had done. We're just starting the resistance side of it.
Okay.
So let's see. They had the 2 resistance transports, and then they had a resistance transport pod, and then a T-70 X-wing.
Okay.
So 5 ships, which is good to see them have that many ships on the board.
True.
But the resistance transport was pretty cool. I thought they showed the model up pretty close, and I've seen other pictures of people that have been at other conventions that they've had them out. Looks really cool. The pod looks like it comes off really easy. Not like it's easy to fall off, but it's easy to remove. So it's not as easy as like that escape craft just pops off the front of the Falcon. It kind of tilts and kind of looks like it hooks on in there. So, but that pod is a little ship, probably the smallest thing we've had so far.
I had a feeling it was going to be pretty small when I seen the actual base for the ship.
Well, the base, it's a small base ship, but
Mhm.
I mean, it's a tiny little model.
Yeah.
I agree.
So now the resistance transport and the resistance pods, one of the things we had talked about before is, what's the differences going to be? Is it going to be actions? What's the dial difference, or what is, what's the difference between the two? So the resistance transport, we'll just start with the actions. It comes with a white focus, a white lock, a red coordinate, and a red jam. And then the pod, I'm sorry. It comes with a white focus, red lock, and red barrel roll, and it was a red. Maybe I wrote that down wrong, but I don't remember that having a jam on it too. But still, I know the difference was it had a barrel roll, and the other one had a coordinate. So
I think they both had coordinate, but
no, they both didn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
That'd be interesting since it has the transport in its main frame, because it can do something like I like to call, you can have 2 dual role ships shooting at the target instead of one, and make the concentration of firepower more worse.
Yeah, but you know what? This is the only one that where they didn't talk about any dynamics for like docking and undocking. Like with the Ghost and Lando's Falcon and stuff, and they have functions in there for that, right?
yeah, this looks more like it's like 2 ships in one package, and you pick which one you're gonna bring
To the fight.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But I tell you what, you buy one of those packages, you're not going to fly both ships. If that's the way, because you're going to have a transport without a pod.
FFG will make sure.
Yeah. But, that's the thing is I was wondering, because I don't know if this is something that they're going to wait till the preview article is going to come out. If they're going to, talk about some kind of docking, undocking procedure with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope there is, because I think it would be cool if there is at some point where you can, as the transport, and then can break off and just have the pod. That I think would be kind of a cool dynamic to have in there.
Yeah. Or if it doesn't like how the Ghost and its shell used to be, you can latch on them, detach in the battle, or it can be like the what's the name of that transport ship the Empire uses? We can carry it, deploy. Well, basically, I like to deploy and reattach and be able to use the same firepower twice.
I don't think they'll do that though, because I mean, if you look at the stats on both ships, if you were to combine them together, it'd be a 12 health small base ship, which is just unprecedented.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really think they intend you to pick one or the other.
So it'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But if it was the one or the other, then that's going to be the first time we're going to have a ship like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, I think you could fly both because unless they changed it recently, according to the tournament regulations, the ship model is actually optional.
Oh.
I know it was last edition. I don't know if they've kept it that way this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I remember seeing anything like that in tournament rules. But also didn't look for it, so
yeah.
But we'll see. Now, the stat lines are pretty close. The transport, it has 2 attack, 1 agility, 5 hull, and 3 shields. But for the pod, you have 2 attack and 2 agility. So just the pod by itself has 1 more agility, which understandably the pod can get around faster than the whole big transport.
Makes logical sense. Smaller, more maneuverable.
Right.
Let me think. What's his hull and shield strength like?
What's that?
I said, now I'm thinking about this small transport ship that can detach. What's his hull and shield strength like?
All right. Well, the transport itself has 5 hull and 3 shields.
Mm-hmm.
But the pod has 3 hull and 1 shield.
Okay, that makes logical sense because I don't want to see that thing carrying a lot of shield strength point while when it's detached and can be that maneuverable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Could that have been like a catch-22? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the guy was flying Rose Tico as a pilot for the pod, and she was in Initiative 3. Oh, welcome, Darrin. I know Austin had to leave us for a reason, and so he just bowed out. Good evening, Darrin. How are you?
I'm here.
I'm back to the group again, Darrin.
Eating your dinner?
No.
So we're talking about the Resistance transport pod right now, Darrin. Like I said, the pilot he said he had on there was Rose Tico. So her pilot abilities is while you defend or perform an attack, you may re-roll up to 1 of your results for each other friendly ship in the attack arc. So
Seems kind of overpowered.
What's that?
Seems kind of overpowered. Could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
But it would have to be, it would have to be set up right,
True.
Yeah, it'd have to fly in tight formation for it to be really effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I mean, how many people are now doing that, though?
Not everyone.
Yeah, well,
I agree on that.
Talk about some of the other stuff that they have coming up in this, and that you won't see it probably as often. But I mean, they would have to fly tight, but it's in the attack arc, so it's even while you're defending. They don't even have to be in her arc. So they just have to be in the guy who's attacking's arc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you just have to have 1 or 2 ships flying right next to her.
Yeah, even just nearer, because even if she's at range 1 and they're at range 3, they're still in the attack arc.
Yeah.
So, thought that was pretty good. They used that a few times in the match, so I got to be able to see how that was used and how they explained it. It was pretty good. They did a pretty good job. They're showing, oh well, see, she can do this because, and they used the range ruler out there and they showed it around. So it was pretty good. So kind of got the gist of it to where it could be used, and then there's other times where it couldn't be used because there's nobody there. So, like I said, situational. It can work very well for her. Otherwise, it's not going to help.
Basically, catch 22.
Yeah. So now on the resistance transport, they had one pilot. His name was Pamish Narrow Good.
Sounds like a hobbit.
Yeah, I know. Something like that was what I was thinking. Oh, and they also did say was something when they were talking about the slots that the transport was going to have. They were talking about you can equip it with torpedoes or missiles or astromechs, and it had two crew slots. So it has a lot of stuff that can be added onto it. And they had on here, on the first one, on Pamich, they had the crew. They had Cadel Connix. That's the lieutenant that is Carrie Fisher's real-life daughter.
Yes.
So that's her on the card, and it says, after you reveal your dial, you may set your dial to a basic maneuver of the next higher speed. While you execute that maneuver, increase its difficulty. So,
Not so bad.
I mean, for if you have that on something like what was it? Oh man, did I put the? I don't think I put the dial on here for these. Oh no. Yeah, I did. It has a 1 red reverse. So if you use that, the guy said, well, then I could do a 2 straight instead. Because that's 1 higher, and because it's a red, and then you do a 2 straight, and then it's white. Because there are 2 straights or blue. So instead of, it could make a big difference if you had set the maneuver to go that 1 reverse, and it's a 1 reverse bank. So instead you go 2 straight. That's a big difference on where it would have been set to where it actually does get set.
So it would make it a 2 straight reverse?
No, a 2 straight, period.
Well, okay, I don't understand why you would even set the 1 reverse unless you're like in hopes of maybe using it or needing it.
Yeah, if you set the 1 reverse and you're expecting, you're going to go back to let's say go back to the right or go back to the left, and you're expecting your opponent to fly in a certain way, but then they end up going a whole different way, and now that 1 reverse is going to set you out of play. But now you can use that to do a 2 straight, and that'll get you back into the fight.
Or it could be does it have to be a straight, or could it be a 2 bank or turn?
It says basic maneuver. I don't know what they didn't really talk about.
I think a basic maneuver is anything other than a K turn or a signal loop or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
anything other than, like turning around, basically.
Yeah, so a straight, bank, or turn. But still, either way, that could still turn you or get you back into the fight if you need to. or if your opponents are, you're expecting them to do a kind of like maybe a 2 or 3, but then they shoot off to a 4 or a 5. Now that's going to put them way out of your arc. So now you can use that and go to that next speed higher, and still stay up in the fight. That's when I just think that it's just something that kind of, it's one of those mechanics that's just to help keep somebody in the fight if possible. So, and she was a resistance only, so only the resistance can use that.
I can see someone having fun with that step back ability. I wonder what kind of editing you can do with that step back ability with the ship.
What do you mean?
Going in reverse instead of going forward.
Right. You just do the one reverse, and that's like, it's like a reverse, like a one bank.
Can't come with any technical ideas yet, but sounds interesting.
Yeah. The rest of the.
Does that only work on the ship that she's on, or is it like an aura effect that she can affect other ships?
No, it's only the ship that she's on.
Okay.
No, go ahead, Andrew.
I was thinking of the ships the Resistance has available. I mean, the Falcon, the Transport, and I think the Bomber can take hers.
Right.
So, like, those generally aren't the 3 ships that I would really want to try and block with. Or, really, they're not really maneuverable enough to really arc dodge. So, like, if it was like an aura effect that you could use it on, T-70s or RZ2s, that would be absolutely amazing. But on the platforms that you can put her on, I'm not sure how often it will come into effect.
They did bring that up because I think it was somebody on chat that had brought in the fact of how it would work with other resistance ships. And they're saying that it does work well with the bomber and the Falcon, but still that's one of those things that's it's how much does it cost?
Yeah.
If it would even be viable. I mean, for something like the Transport, it would be a good thing to be having it on, but having it on one of the other 2 would, to me, it would come down to more of how much does it cost. So, and like I said, I think I would use it only more of keeping my ship in there or in somebody's range 3 instead of them coming into range 2.
Yeah, I can see that. If you're going to use it that way, though, I'd like to see the ability be to move up or down instead of just up. Like, it's good if you're trying to get away from somebody, but if you're in a jousting position, you don't really want to move faster towards them most of the time.
Right, but even like think about sometimes at the late game, and we're running low on time, and now there's only one ship, and I got let's say my Falcon with this on it, and they got an A-wing. The A-wing's a lot faster maneuverable. This can at least give it an extra push to try to keep up and keep that A-wing into, you get that late game where they're running from you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. And this is something that could help keep you in that instead of them just running away from you and not be able to fire for several rounds.
Yeah, it could. I'm just saying it's very situational. So it just depends on how many points she ends up being. Like if she's only like, 1 or 2 points, then absolutely that's worth it. But if she's like 5 or 6, then I'm not sure it would come up enough for her to be really worthwhile.
I agree with that on that point. Because I was gonna say I agree on that point because her ability sounds awesome, but like you were saying, Scott, that's kind of like the last couple minutes when you're in the final moments of the heat of the fight. So you might not be using her much at the beginning of the fight. So if she's a large amount of points, the extra add-ons you could have put on the ship may outweigh her.
Which I do agree. I mean, it is situational, and you got to just think more of your and it comes down to flying styles too. Because if you're someone who wants to get in there tight, always want to be in there tight with everyone, then yeah, this would definitely not be something that you want to use. But if you have a slower ship, that sometimes it's harder to get back into the fight or something. I think it works more in the favor of helping you get in the fight. Because it's not like you have to use it every turn or at all. But it's just one of those times where you think that, hey, I should have done a 3 straight instead of a 2 straight.
Yeah.
You know, how many times during a game do you say, "Oh, I should have went a little faster," or you know? So,
okay, there's one pilot I could see her being really good on.
Who's that?
Iden Copperhill, I think is how you pronounce the last name, is one of the bomber pilots. And his abilities, after you execute a blue or white maneuver, if you have not dropped a device, you can drop a device. So I could see you using her to, you put on him, and then, if you're trying to slow roll and you need to go faster to drop a bomb directly on somebody, she gives you that ability.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really, like I said, it just comes down to how many points she ends up being.
Which I completely agree. All right, so the next upgrade they had was a cannon called Auto Blasters. It has 2 attack at range 1 to 2, and you also can get that range bonus. So if they're at range 1, then you get that extra die. And the card reads, attack. If the defender is in your bullseye arc, roll 1 additional die. During the neutralized steps, if you are not in the defender's front arc, evade results do not cancel crit results. So you get 2 attack. If they're range 1 in your bullseye, then you got 4 die. You're rolling those, and even if a couple of them are crits,
They do a good amount of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even if you roll 1 crit, it doesn't matter what they roll. They're still that crit's still going through because they can't evade it.
Yeah, this could be, depending on how many points it is, it could be really good.
Is that about the same thing that the Auto Blaster did before?
No, the Auto Blaster before, it was just 2 dice, but you could not evade hits. So they've toned it down. But they've also given it more ability to do damage.
Now, when they use this one quite a bit, because the transport itself only has 2 attack anyways. So if they're running at range 1 and 2 of you, why wouldn't you use it?
Yeah.
Especially if you get that extra attack die at range 1, either way, it doesn't matter if they're in your bullseye or not. You just don't get that extra attack die if they're not in your bullseye, but still, they still wouldn't be able to cancel your crits.
Yeah.
So personally, I think I'd be shooting with this every time, except if they're range 3. You know, so I don't know. I like that.
Those would be really good on T-70s.
Yeah, but they don't take cannons, right?
Yeah, you can put a cannon on a T-70.
Can you?
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, I've run T-70s with heavy laser cannons before. They're pretty good.
Really? I don't think I ever paid attention to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just trying to think of a platform that's maneuverable enough to really take advantage of it, and T-70 is probably the best example at the moment.
All right. Well, I'm looking at a T-70s, and I don't see any cannon slots.
It's the ship ability. You can equip one cannon, missile, or torpedo.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You have to get that. Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
Favorite one. Oh, that's that special. That's what that special slot is for. Okay.
Yep.
That's probably why I didn't think of it, because I wasn't thinking that they had a slot for it. But yeah. So yeah, this would work pretty good on those. Let's see. The other Resistance transport pilot was just a logistics division pilot at Initiative 1, so it was just a generic pilot. But they had a crew member. They had C-3PO, the Resistance C-3PO. It was so funny. They were like, "Oh, you probably didn't recognize them because of the red arm." They kept making that joke. So, 3PO. So it says you gain a red coordinate and a calculate and a white calculate. While you coordinate, you can choose a friendly shits beyond range 2 if they have a calculate on their action bar. After you perform the calculate or coordinate action, gain a calculate token. So having this on the transport is pretty good, because you're going to get that if you coordinate with it, then you get that free calculate. And you can coordinate beyond range 2.
That's kind of more fascinating what C3 CPO used to be like. Because what was in the old one, I think you roll a dice, you choose a number that's low, you can get an evade. I think that's what it was in the old version. This one sounds a little bit better than what it was in the past.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was in the first one. I didn't use them that often.
Actually, what 1.0 C3PO was is you guessed a number, and then you rolled an evade dice, or if you got less than, if you guessed, everybody just guessed one. So if you roll a blank, you still get one evade, a free evade token. But if you guess 3, and you roll an evade, I think you got 3 evade tokens or something. It never worked, right?
It only worked on like low agility ships.
Yeah.
And no ships that had the word juke with them. Or was that R2D2? One of the two.
All right, well, now on Rostico, on the transport pod, they had a crew member. The crew was called GA-97. It was a droid. It came with 5 charges, and it added a calculate token, and then add a calculate to your action bar. Now, this is kind of involved. It says setup. Before placing forces, you may spend 3 to 5 charge tokens. If you do, choose another friendly ship and assign it's the resistance condition card. So to me, it's 3 to 5 charges. Why do more than 3? Because it just means one more round that it takes for you to regenerate that charge. Unless you have a specific thing where you want to wait for the 4th round or 4th turn or the 5th turn for them to come back here.
So what is the card do again?
It's called GA97.
Okay.
It's just the first part of it. It just says, before placing forces, you may spend 3 to 5 charge tokens. If you do, choose another friendly ship and assign it's the resistance condition card. Now, here's the thing with the it's the resistance condition card. This is the way it reads. Setup, start in reserve. So now I take that and I assign it to another friendly ship. Now that ship starts in reserve. So, okay, so it sits off to the side. When you deploy, you are placed within range 1 of any table edge and beyond range 3 of any enemy ship. Get that? So it can go anywhere around the board as long as it's, beyond range 3 of an enemy ship.
And what faction is that?
This is the resistance.
That's really interesting because it gives you a little flexibility of when you want to bring that ship in.
Right, because then it says at the start of the round, if all friendly GA97 charges are active, you must deploy. So, every round you get that charge back for that GA97. So now once he's gained all his charges back, then that ship deploys.
Oh, I see. That's what the 3 to 5 is. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
So it says start of the round. Does that mean that the round that you deploy that ship, he gets to make a maneuver?
Okay, now, at the start of the round, that's when you place him. So
yeah.
GA97 got all his charges back at the end, in the end phase of the last round. Now, this beginning of the round, now I place him out there. I deploy him out there on the thing. That's at the start of the round, and then the round continues. So activation, all that stuff.
Planning phase and everything else.
The planning, system activation, all that shit goes on in there. So yes, after you're deployed, you get to set a dial.
Yeah.
So
he could show up and you could put in a fast maneuver, and depending on the ship and what actions you do, you could potentially get into range 1 even if you're beyond range 3.
Except the reason why you wouldn't do that is the last part of it. It says, after the friendly GA97 is... Oh, I'm sorry. This is the middle part. Now, this is the other part of it. Now, the question was, well, what if the ship that GA97 is on is destroyed before he gains all his charge tokens back? And it says, after the droid is destroyed, you must deploy. So you are deployed, that next start of that next round. But then you gain 1 disarm token and remove the card.
So the goal is to keep the droid alive as long as you can. You want to use that ability.
Right.
The only time you get the discharge or the disarm token is if the ship is destroyed, though.
Right.
Yeah. So really, you'd want to... I don't know if you'd really want to spend more than 3 charges on it, because you'd want that ship getting in there as quick as possible, most likely.
Right, unless this is you're going to have him on one of the ships that you're going to kind of like hang back.
Exactly, that's my ideal.
That keeps at a distance so nobody's going to, target it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Play keep away. That could also be a good bait and lure tactic too. Anyways,
What?
bait and lure. In other words, everyone's going to be focused on trying to take out that ship with the droid on it. That if you actually position the other ship that you can deploy just right, have it run right into the crosshairs, and then have it deploy instantly with the ship that was given chase to try to destroy the ship that had the drone on it, you might be able to do a significant amount of damage, especially if the ship has enough firepower that's waiting to be deployed.
Right, like this time he had the T-70 X-wing in reserve.
Uh-huh.
They said this is like the third time they've played these two with these factions, and one time he did the X-wing, the second time he did the A-wing, then this time he was going to do the X-wing again.
I would use the X-wing, especially in the deployed stage.
Yeah.
Just have it waiting there so once that opponent comes to try to take out that droid ship, it pops out. And that firepower could be close, like maybe even range 1, do more significant amount of damage. And also depending on what kind of ability cards you put on the X-wing.
Yeah, that'd be really fun on the Resistance Falcon, especially like if Han's the one flying it. Because if I remember right, ability still, you deploy him beyond range 3 anywhere on the board of an enemy ship. So with this card, you can have 2 enemy ships. You could potentially, if you have a 2-ship list, you could potentially place nothing on the board before while they place their whole squad.
That's another tactic too.
Well, I mean, you'd still, if you had you'd have Han on the board, and then that's it.
Yeah, but you place him at initiative 6 after everyone else is placed.
Right. Yeah, they'll have to put their whole list down. You put down one ship.
That is brutal when you think of it that way.
And then you only do 3 charges, so it's only 3 rounds of movement, and then here he comes in.
Yeah.
Anywhere on the board for the most part.
What's that?
Yeah.
Anywhere on the board for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's within range 1 of the edge and beyond range 3 of a defender, or of an enemy. Someone wrote in on the chat and asked what if I was running a TIE swarm, and when it came time for a deploy, there was nowhere you could deploy because all my ships were, out there, and they would have been all within range 3 of the edge anywhere. And the guy was like, well, if you could run a swarm like that, it wouldn't be a swarm. You'd be just rotating around the edges,
Pretty much.
Which would not be a real fun game.
It would be feasible.
Yeah, that's physically possible.
Yeah. So it just kind of made it fun. Hold on a second. I'm responding to something in the chat.
Somebody in the chat?
Yeah, in our live chat. I'm sorry.
I don't see anybody in there.
Huh?
I don't see anybody in there.
Yeah, I had somebody on our live chat to chat it in. It was actually Austin, so you don't see it on the side on the group chat because he did it on the actual YouTube channel.
Mm.
Okay. All right, let's get back to this. Let's see, where's I at here? Oh, so that was the only other new one. I did that crew. We did, yeah. So said they didn't really have anything special on the other ships for the Resistance. The T-70, it was that Icarus Tubbs. Yeah, I hadn't heard of him before. So, you guys heard of him before?
First time for me hearing it of this person's existence.
I don't even. Maybe I wrote something down. I wrote that down wrong or something because I don't even have anybody like that.
I came in. It might have come in like the new T70 pack.
That's
I know I
possible.
have his card, but I've never used him.
I don't even have a. Oh yeah, there he is. He is Initiative 1. Oh, he's the one that's called the Loving Father. But all he had on him was his S-Foils card, so they didn't have anything else added onto it. Some of the fun things while I was watching them play the game, they did a few things that, that were something that was changed in from 1.0 to 2.0. When you declare what you're going to do for your action, like say, I'm going to focus. Well, they kept doing that, and then right before they set it on the board, they go, no. And they change it to something else. Isn't that something we're supposed to not be doing?
It's not right. If you say I'm taking a focus, doesn't matter if you put it on the board or not. If you declare it, that's your action. If you change your mind, then it's a failed action.
Right, and then I get that it was just kind of a fun demo, but still, the rules are that, and you see somebody that he's not been playing that long, watch it and see, well, these guys are doing it. So
you can make the argument that you misspoke or something before you actually initiate the action and do something different.
Well, yeah, I could okay, but if they had the focus token in their hand, they're getting ready to put it down on the table, and then they go no. But and then the only other thing is like then they were doing a barrel roll, and the guy was deciding whether he should go back. Like he had the other guy was doing the barrel roll for him because it was like right by his board edge, and the guy, he's like, do you want it front and back or middle? And the guy goes, huh. And he goes, well, this is where it would be if the front. This is where it would be at the back. This is where it would be at the middle. And I'm like, really? And I understand if you're playing a casual game, it's just the two of you, but not when you're putting this out for everybody to see.
Well, technically, according to the barrel roll rules, you just have to declare which way you're barrel rolling. Whether you're going front, back, or middle is something you can look at and decide when you make the move.
Yeah. You have to decide which direction, left or right.
So you don't have to declare where you're going?
No, just the direction.
Yeah, see, that's just barrel roll is not something I use that much, so I don't. Yeah, okay. All right, so anyways, what, go on?
Also, that's a rare one for me too, because I used to use it a lot, but only when I have a ship, and I know that either A, I'm about to be behind someone, or B, I just know I got enough firepower to outshoot the person I'm going to go head on with. Until then, no, I don't even use it.
I'll say I started using it a lot more when T65s gained access to barrel roll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I get that. Now, since they didn't run any of the games for the or any game list for the Separatists, and on Wave 4, the Separatists are getting their Hyena bomber. They did they did show it. So they put out the model, and they put out one pilot card, and it's the one that says it's like DVS 404.
Yeah, I'm an IT guy, and that name is absolutely hilarious.
What is it again?
DVS 404.
404.
You ever gone to a website and you've got 404 error not page not?
I get it.
Yep. He was a pilot initiative 4. They showed the model. The model's got paint job like the kind of a shark's tooth design. You know, where on the wings it's got the like.
Yeah.
Good paint scheme, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have the only other thing they have like a separatist logo on it. So, but the pilot ability for that DBS is said you can perform primary attacks at range 0. While you perform an attack at range 0 to 1, you must roll 1 additional die. After the attack hits, wow, I wrote this down wrong. Suffer 1 critical damage. Kind of shoots itself in the foot.
Well, for every strength, there gotta be a weakness.
So, if I'm touching somebody and I choose to shoot them, I'm going to roll 1 additional dice. But if I hit with even one of them, I take a crit.
No, they take an extra. I'm sorry, they take an extra crit.
Oh, that's just I'll be bumping the fuck out of people. I mean, hell out of people then.
If it was the way I read it,
I did not catch any of that.
It says after the attack hits, so you gotta get more hits or crits than they get evades. So it's
right.
Kind of shooting yourself in the foot, but you're shooting them probably more in the foot.
Yeah, I mean, you're attacking with 2, and then you have that 1, so you end up with 3 attack. So, I mean, this is something where you could just be using this to ram people.
Yeah.
You'd actually get 4.
What's that?
You get 4 because it's 2 base plus 1 for range plus another one for the ship ability.
Yeah, it's 4 dice.
Well, you wouldn't get the range. You wouldn't get the extra range 1 if it's at range 0.
Sure you would. Why wouldn't you?
Because you only get an extra attack 1 if you only get 1 extra if it's within range 1.
Yeah, range 0 is within range 1.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is, because otherwise Arvo would be worthless because he couldn't just ram people and roll 3 dice.
Arvo, who's that? I don't
He's
know.
the rebel pilot who can hit other ships and attack them.
It's a rebel A-wing?
Yeah.
Been like that since 1.0.
What's that?
Been like that since 1.0.
Mm-hmm.
Rebel A-wings. Where the hell are the A-wings?
Under A.
Actually, they're under R because they're now RZ1s.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. So you'd still get the range 1 bonus at range 0?
It says within range 1. I mean, range 0 is within range 1. He's not outside of range 1, so...
No, because that's the whole reason why they came up with the range 0. So it wasn't... So touching was not range 1.
They came up with range 0, so touching normally means you can't attack the ship you're touching. You're still within range 1 of that ship. You just are at range 0, so you can't attack them. Unless you're this guy or Arville, or I think there's like one other ship that has that ability.
Well, like Zeb's ability.
Yeah.
So
Fascinating.
talk between yourself for a moment about that, okay?
Okay, yeah,
No, I mean, I agree with you, Andrew. It's just, if you're at range 0, you're still at range 1, so you get the bonus. I haven't seen anything that contradicts it.
I haven't either. The only thing I've seen is, if like they're touching you on your side and their front is overlapping, so the front is not technically at range 0, you're still considered at range 0, so you couldn't attack them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Okay, sorry about that. My kids were coming up to say goodnight to me.
Aww.
Yeah, they're going to bed.
Yeah. I mean,
Nice.
I'm sorry. Whatever you guys were just saying, I didn't hear you because I was dealing with them, so I didn't hear what you said.
it's okay. We don't care.
Yeah, okay. Crap, now I gotta get back to stuff. All right, so the Hyena class bomber also had the same ship ability as the Vulture droids, the network calculation. So they have the same one as them, so they can still pass that shit back and forth.
They can borrow calculations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Use somebody else's calculate token or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that. So they said they did that because so it'll be a lot easier to integrate in with the regular Vulture droids, and that's kind of how they were in the show anyways. They kind of worked together anyways, so but yeah. So they have actions on it. It's a white calculate, a white lock, a white barrel roll linked into a red lock, and then a red reload.
I wasn't familiar with the Hyena bomber. Is the model actually bigger than the Vulture droids?
Not much.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see a little bit because they got a little bit extra hull to it. But
yeah, they're just a little bit bigger. They still kind of they're a little more angular than they are rounded like the Vulture droids are.
okay.
But
Still on a small base ship. I mean,
still small base. It comes with a brand new bomb. Something we had talked about when we were seeing some of the preview articles. There is that one bomb token that had it looked like a little missile on it. You know, it had like a long stick in the end or a little long rod on the end, and then it had the shape looked like it was like a missile kind of thing.
Okay.
Definitely didn't look like a bomb, but that one is called a electro-proton bomb.
Sounds kinky.
Interesting.
Yeah, it only can be used for a bomb and modification slot. Okay. You have to have the reload action, which is the part that's funny. You have to have the reload action. It gets one charge, but the charge cannot be recovered.
That might be a typo.
No, they specifically talked about that, and
So why would it doesn't make any sense. Why would you have to have a recharge action if you cannot recharge the?
Well, I mean, they can't like for whatever upgrade that says you may regain a charge for on an upgrade card.
I think they're just trying to limit how many ships can carry this thing.
Right, but why would it have to be specific for something that has a reload?
When you can't reload that charge, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, I get the only thing I could think of is it's meant to be put on a bomber, so they're trying to thematically say, okay, only bombers this edition have reload actions, so hence you can only a dedicated bomber can put it in, because I mean, what can you put it on? Like the new Hyena, Y-wings of all variations, and like a K-wing can take it. TIE bomber.
So, and I don't remember I don't know if I wrote it. I don't think I wrote it down at all, and I don't remember if there was anything, if it was like a faction specific, but I don't think it was.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
So okay, so Here's the kicker about this one. This is where there was also in the preview articles there was also a token on there that was kind of like a what was that, six-sided? You know, six-sided, and it kind of had a little window or something in it. It was kind of weird, different looking.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it. I think it's called a countdown token.
No, I'll tell you in a minute what it is. But this is where that comes in. It says this is a bomb. It says during the system phase, you may spend one charge to drop an electrostatic or electroproton bomb with the one straight template. Then place one fuse marker on that device. That other token was a fuse marker. Okay, so and then this card's charge cannot be recovered. And then for the rules for this kind of a bomb, it says at the end of the activation phase, this device detonates. When this device detonates, each ship, not pick a ship, at range 0 to 2 rolls 4 attack dice. Each ship loses 1 shield for each blank result, gains 1 ion token for each focus or hit result, and gains 1 disarm token for each critical hit result.
That's ugly. That's a 10-point bomb right there on this one. Bomb.
It's crazy. Now, the thing with the fuse marker is, so that first round, you drop it in the system phase, and then at the end of the activation, it detonates. Well, that fuse marker says it's delaying the explosion. So what it does is that fuse marker delays it for 1 round. So when the end of the first activation phase comes to an end and it's supposed to explode, you take that fuse marker off of it. So the next round, when you come to the end of the activation phase, then it blows up.
And so you have an opportunity not to hit your own bomber with it.
Exactly, and that's the thing that they showed. They put it on the board, and they're like, "Look, if you dropped it here, and then you did a 2 bank to get away, you're still within range 2." Mm-hmm. So that one round allows you to do 2 movements before you decide to get out of the way. So basically, what it does is for a round, it's going to cordon off that spot because everyone's going to try and get away from it.
Yeah, that is true. And again, that's always the case for any bomb. Once it's laid out, you don't want to run into it. You want to stay far away from it as possible until it blows up or somebody else runs into it.
Right, because I mean, who wants to take all that stuff?
Yeah.
Now, the fuse markers are going to be able to come in, and they're going to be able to be used on mines. They talked about this too. They said, they work differently on mines. Now, a mine, when you drop it and somebody flies over it, it blows up, right?
Yeah.
Well, if it has a fuse marker, the first ship that rolls over it removes the fuse marker. The second ship is when it explodes.
Wow.
Are they gonna make some new mines with this, or are they gonna fac it into some of the existing mines as an option?
Well, I mean, they don't have anything now. I mean, they didn't show any new mines. So I don't know. Hopefully, maybe they'll come out with some new mines, or something to add them on to those mines. Because they didn't really talk too much about the fuse markers on how you'd put them on the mines, if there's a special upgrade you need for it or what. So they didn't talk about that at all. They just said it works with the mines, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of really kind of generic on that whole idea.
So leave it to speculations a little bit. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Leave us to ponder and wait till they come up with something in their preview articles to show us.
Maybe there'll be something in Epic that'll be using that. Some new mine there.
Yeah, they did say that this wave they started some of the upgrades that they're adding are supposed to work, are designed to work really well with some of the Epic play that's coming. So, like I said, so some of the stuff, so probably this one and who knows some of the other stuff that can excuse me. Sorry. But yeah, so they use with Epic, so we'll see how they're gonna put that in there. But yeah, if they come out with some new mines even for Epic, that would be cool. Especially if they use that fuse part on it. So that's about did it for the video that they did for the gameplay. Now, Darrin, you weren't here when we were starting to talk about the Naboo starfighters.
Mhm.
Did you have any thing to weigh in on those?
Are they? I mean, they were crap in the movie. I mean, they're just basically, drone fighters the way it looked to me, or they just weren't very good pilots. I mean, really, is it worth it?
I want to say they're like this modern, well, they're an old age version of the speeders that you've seen on Endor. The stormtroopers use. In other words, it got the speed. Yeah, it probably got the maneuverability somewhat. When I say maneuverability, I mean if you got good lightning reflexes. But
Well, they had its dial is very, very good. They have a white one straight and banks, 2 blue straights and banks and white turns, 3 blue straight and banks and white turns, and a red talon roll, and then a white 4 and 5 straight.
Okay.
What's their stat line?
2 attack, 2 agility, 3 hull, 2 shields.
So kind of mediocre. Gotcha.
Well,
I wouldn't say mediocre. They're decent.
Well, I guess.
I mean, I would have
a lot of firepower.
Right, but I mean,
they have torpedoes for that.
Yeah, they do have they do take torpedoes. They had on Anakin Skywalker, they had plasma torpedoes on them.
Okay. Get a little more fangs on them.
Yeah, because I don't know. Did you guys read what the plasma torpedoes were?
No, exactly.
Are those nukes coming out?
Yeah, so they take a lock, so you have to have a lock. It says spend 1 charge. It comes with 2 charges, by the way. Okay. It says spend 1 charge during the neutralize results step. Critical hit results are canceled before hit results. After this attack hits, the defender loses 1 shield.
How many dice?
3.
3.
So there's a potential of having 4 hits on somebody if it's one of the high shield count ships, which is a good way to get them close to half points right off the bat.
Wasn't the old one at 1.0 like 5 dice?
No, it was only 3. It did the same thing. It just did it in a different way. Like, I think this one is actually a little better. Like, if I'm shooting it at your fire sprays, Darrin, then if I roll 3 hits and you roll, no evades, then I remove one of your shields right away, and then you take the 3 hits.
Oh, so
Ouch.
the shields are coming off prior to the actual damage?
No,
Yeah.
it says after the attack hits.
It's after you
Right.
hit before it applies damage. So
Well,
Yeah.
that we're gonna have to see on the timing part on it. But I don't.
Yeah,
the
because
impression
after
I got from reading the FFG forums about it was I roll my attack dice, you roll your defense dice. Say I get 3 hits and you get 1 evade. You cancel out one of my hits. That means the attack still hits. At that point, you immediately lose a shield, and then I apply the effect of the other 2 hits that you didn't cancel.
Now that could be a little bit. That could be a lot different if.
Yeah, they're
And
going to
then
have
we
to
can give a shit
clarify.
whether or not how many shields the other ship has, as long as it has a shield.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's what I've been reading on the FFG forums. People are saying that's how it's working. I'm not 100% sure that that's correct, but that's how I'm reading it.
Okay, well that's how they're speculating it will work, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it could be wrong, but
Yeah, because they might show something a little bit different when they talk about it in the preview article. They might go in depth with it, and they're saying, they might specify on when that shield is taken. So
Yeah.
we'll
yeah,
have to see.
hopefully they
There's more to
will.
come. There's more to come. But Darrin, the one thing you didn't hear on the Snabu Starfighter has Anakin Skywalker. His pilot ability is before you reveal your maneuver, you may spend 1 force token to barrel roll. This
Sweet.
barrel roll is not counted as an action. So you could barrel roll, spend the force, do a barrel roll, do a maneuver, do another barrel roll.
oh yeah, if it specifies it's not an action, and it doesn't fall under the repeating action.
Right. And it does specify on the card, this is not an action.
Well, making a ship that has it a lot more. Well, Anakin ship a lot more harder to kill.
Yeah.
My
And then
idea.
but then it also has the ship ability that it says if you do a 2 what is it? It says after you fully execute a speed 3 to 5 maneuver, you may perform an evade action. So boost, do a 5 straight, gain a evade, do another boost, or do a boost, or use a barrel roll, then 5, then boost, or a barrel roll. You can move his ass around the board pretty quick.
Mhm.
Yeah, making him more agile, more able to get around and possibly get behind the enemy. I love trying to outflank someone or get behind them and try to do more damage and try to reduce the damage I take, but that's just me.
Yeah, I know it does give it a good way of maneuverability. So that's why I think for one, the maneuverability of it kind of makes up for the low attack and low agility.
True.
The hull and shields are pretty basic. I mean, pretty, in line with some other ships. Like, he even has one more hull than an A-wing does. So, and just one less agility than an A-wing.
Not bad.
And then with the only thing of having only the red Talon rolls, that's the only thing red. I think that, and there's 6 different ways you can, remove that one stress token. So I think it'll be an interesting having these with the the Jedi Interceptors, running them together, I think would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try it.
Did you see a point cost?
No, they don't. They didn't have any point costs at all, of course. But they did say that according to their, point costs that they've done for it, each one of these lists were within the 200.
Okay.
So this is a viable 200-point list.
Mhm.
Unless you do some modifications in the future, but okay.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as it sits right now, it's viable enough to make the threshold of under 200 points.
You see.
Which, not bad. So it'll be good for them to come out, hit the table this summer, so then we can play around with them and have some, see what it's like. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Anything on your guys' mind that you guys want to bring up?
I want to talk about how they showed how the new B-wing moves around.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Like that the cockpit rotating, the wings rotating, and the ship rotates around the base. That's amazing. I want at least 2 of those.
I agree. I was watching that part, and I was up here, and then Michelle was up here too, and I said, "Look, watch this," and they showed it moving. Then they put it on the peg, and they moved it around, play with the wings and all that stuff. And she's like, "Oh, those look really cool." I said, "Yeah, I want one." She goes, "Yeah, I can see that." Yeah, I just want one for to play around with it because I think it's so cool. Because it's one of my favorite ships for just the movement mechanics of it, because it can rotate around that cockpit and the wings can fold up, open and close.
Mhm.
I just think it was pretty cool. And
You
as a
know,
kid, when they first came out in Return of the Jedi, I had one of those, and actually I still have one. I think it's in the next room. I still have that same one from when I was a kid.
but I said that's what I think a lot's going to make the biggest sell the next couple of weeks. Is just the B-Ways release because, like you said, it brings a lot back, a lot of nostalgia. And at the same time, you won't want to have a starship where you can basically have the cockpit rotate around in circles or something close to that, or 180 degrees, one or two.
Yeah, they had it up. They said, well, you could make some interesting looks on how they're flying, and they're like, you could fly it like this, where they had it kind of upside down with the tail up over here, and the cockpit turned off sideways, and
When I first started playing, I took my B wings, and you know how the 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 part of it that came out of the engine pod and go down.
egg.
I took that off of there, and I put 2 round magnets, so it could spin on it. But that's
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything else. It was interesting. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was cool for something like that, but them coming out with this one like this is just makes it a little more exciting.
Makes me hope we'll see an upgrade card like the X-Wings have for the B-Wings with like the S-foils closed and open.
That's cool.
That's what I was thinking last week. Oh
Yeah.
man, that would be awesome. Or we get that ability like we got we seen in what was it called? Rogue Squadron, Rebels. When we sort of see the B-Wing being used, I would love to see a B-Wing be able to be fixed with that. But again, it might do too much destruction. I'm game to do which way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to talk about rebels in the B-wings, the first real pilot of a B-wing was Hera. So, are they going to come out with a Hera crew card or a Hera pilot card?
It's possible.
Darrin, you don't want Hera on a third ship?
Wasn't Sabine in the gunner slot?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Now I can see Sabine. I can see Sabine in a gunner slot. In a gunner. It's a gunner card.
Yeah, that'd be good. So anything you want to talk about, Darrin?
The only thing I got to say is about tomorrow's event going on.
Yes, tomorrow we have our tournament.
And May the 4th, little celebration and stuff too.
That's
Yes.
made the best pot win, as I say. Or squad or team, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me stop my Emperor Palpatine moment for a moment. Give into the darkness.
So Darrin, you said you put out the registration starts at 10, or show up at 10.
Well, the store
And-
opens at 10, so you get there, register, and we're gonna throw dice. First round will start at 11.
So 11 o'clock we start our first round.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's not just the handicap tournament. It's before the May the 4th event as well. So bring some goodies. Cheese dip or something. Meat tray or something. Whatever you want. It'd be cool.
Cookies and cupcakes.
Whatever you want to bring.
Yeah. So, Larry, you gonna be there?
We'll see. Actually have the day off tomorrow, so I might come out there. Now, while getting into the competition, sure, why not? I'm not afraid to take a shot at it. Well, see, we'll see.
Well, you already paid for the league, right?
Pretty much.
So
I might as well come on out for it.
yeah, if you paid for the league, you paid for the tournament.
Yep, you already paid up.
Yeah. So
Andrew has to pay again because.
Yeah, I guess y'all will see me out there.
So come on out, Andrew. You gonna be up there tomorrow, right?
Yeah, plan to be.
Yeah, and I know, of course, Darrin, you're gonna be there. I'll be there. I know Austin said he's gonna be there, and Abby will be there, but he said that she is not gonna be playing.
Yeah, probably not. She hasn't played in like 2 years.
Yeah, but I know I talked to him before we started, and he said no. So, or as it was me and Andrew were both talking to him. But at least she'll be there, say hi and stuff. So that'll be good.
Yep.
Yeah, Larry, you got something to bring up?
Right now, no, not a clue. I'm just being just a little goofy over here in the side corner. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, you're always goofy in the corner. So, all right. Well, that's all I really had for tonight. So I guess we can cut it a little short tonight and be good at it.
Yeah.
It'll be nice. One of the shorter ones we've had recently. So, next week, hopefully we'll have some more information to come out next week so we can talk about that. If not, I'm sure we can find some stuff to talk about. Thank you guys for showing up and joining in today. And for the people that are still watching, make sure if you enjoyed this video, please get a thumbs up, like it, and then make sure you subscribe to our channel and press a little notification so you can get notified when we start a video or we release something new. Also, join us on our Facebook page, and then you can become a patron on our Patreon page. All the links to that stuff is in the show notes on YouTube. And when you do the audio part, it'll be on the audio show notes too. So also check in the show notes. They have some links in there to some other of our guys' things, to like Darrin's painting business and Kyle's painting business, and Chris has his extra podcast he does. So there's going to be links for all that stuff in the show notes too. So check those out, and we will see you guys all next week about the same time, and we'll talk to you guys then. All right. This is Viper Squadron. We are out.
Ciao.
See ya.